Welcome to Juhl Media live interview podcast. My name is Ching Juhl. I have been hosting this program 4 years ago when during the pandemic lockdown. So today, my guest is a very special woman who she is a director, she is a filmmaker, she's a producer, she's a spiritual, I would say, speaker. Let's welcome Neha Lohia. Hello, Neha.
Hi, Juhl. How are you? I'm so
I'm
happy to be here. Should I call you Ching or should I call you Juhl?
Ching.
Ching, okay.
Ju is okay. Yes, thank you so much for coming to my show. And you have been very busy. You are a busy lady, right? You've been doing so many things. And tell us a little bit, what's your recent project?
So recently, I there are two projects that are going on, three actually that are going on right now. One is an animated film. It's called The Voice of Spirit. It's based on a book by an author from New York. Her name is Kelly Tallaksen. So she and Dr. Candice Perkins came together with me, and three of us have collaborated to create like a proof of concept based on her book, which deals with intergenerational trauma. And we had this brainstorm session, and we came up with this idea of why not we create it like an animated film and see what happens. Just start the conversation of intergenerational trauma in almost like a kindergartenish way, like start like at very basic. The next is a documentary which I have been filming for past 2 years, ever since my own near-death experience. It's called Who Am I? It has almost 120 people from 30 countries in it, and we're in the final leg of post-production on that one right now. And what I filmed about 3 weeks ago is a short called Hello Dad. So yeah, that's what's going on, and I filmed it right here in New York with an Emmy-nominated actor and an actress called Ankita Makwana from Switzerland, right here in New York. So yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about how did you get into this art of filmmaking and the, you know, you also do acting, I believe, and directing. How did this whole thing happen?
I don't act. Firstly, I don't act. It's only sometimes when some friends will like torture me to be as a background extra in the shot, I'll like try and do that, but I don't act. I get scared to be in front of camera, to be honest. But I think my journey started when I was very little. Storytelling has been an intrinsic part of me as I was growing up. With my grandmom, with my mom, reading Indian texts. Storytelling has been a very, very intrinsic part of my life, and it's helped me overcome certain life situations and circumstances as well. When certain characters from, say, Indian mythology or Asian culture or some other, societies became my role model. And I just felt that I have dabbled into so many other creative forms, whether it's photography, whether it's art, commercial art, etc., music as well. And then I felt that the most powerful way where I can integrate everything that I can bring to table and say these narratives in the most powerful way is through cinema, is through motion pictures, is through moving images, because you can transport people into a different world, different time, almost like you can live that moment again. And that sort of really inspires me to sort of use my imagination and create possibilities. So yeah, that's how I got into this. My actual journey started from advertising. After I completed my college in India, I got a scholarship, and then I was employed by an ad agency in India called Lintas. And the creative director of Lintas was a man called R. Balki, who is a big filmmaker now in Bollywood. And that whole team often fanned my ideas, and they were starting a film division called Lintertainment. And then I was offered this opportunity because I think I was this creative kid on the block who always came up with these crazy ideas. So they said, "Would you like to join Entertainment?" And I said, "Sure." I jumped in, and I think that was the start to my sort of Bollywood and film journey. And from there on, I never sort of looked back. I dabbled into sorry, many positions, head of marketing and many positions. But then I realized that my core gift is to be able to say these stories. So yeah.
So you tell us a little bit of your background. So you were born in India, and eventually you are a New Yorker now. So tell us a little bit, how is the journey?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, so I was born in India, in Delhi. And I think within 1 month of my birth, my parents decided to move to Mumbai, which is where my maternal family lived. And my whole upbringing was in Mumbai, my education and everything. And there was a time much early in my life. I think I was about 14, 15, and that's when I lost my dad. That time began my spiritual quest and my spiritual journey of, where do people go, what happens, why are we here, and who we are really. It sort of I started asking me existential questions at that time, and that got me into discovering newer places, primarily spiritual. And I started traveling by myself early on. Primarily in India because that time I was very young, and then life had it that because of my interest in art, photography, and my education choices that I made with commercial art and photography and cinema, that I got opportunities to travel a lot of places in the world, Hong Kong, Korea, LA, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Australia, many places, Paris, Cannes, many places because of my profession and the way I was contributing, and I realized that um, I probably want to pursue further education. I want to hone my skills. I want to hone my craft, and I want to do it here in New York. And originally, I came to New York for another reason, and I had a relationship and a heartbreak. But then I realized that that was not the real reason. The real reason was always me pursuing my passion, and that's why this land called me. That's why I was here. And even after facing near death situations or dire conditions, I've managed to still be here. It's almost 4 years now, and I'm still pursuing my further education and contributing to more and more projects. So yeah, I guess like in my culture they say that bloom where you're planted. Like I think I'm planted here right now, and I want to bloom a little bit before my journey proceeds further.
Now, my impression of I see observation, limited observation, always thinking people from India, they're extremely techy and they're also very artsy in many different ways. All right. So, can you just elaborate a little bit about compare New York City and Mumbai, and what are the things like a similarity? Where are the similarity?
Ching, it's so interesting you ask that because I believe this is me as a creative soul. I feel like, as creators, no matter where we are, whether we are in our basements, whether we are on a skyscraper, whether we are in New York, in Mumbai, in Dubai, in which part of the world, we live in our creations. Although our surroundings and our atmosphere does impact us, but I believe that we live a lot more in our heads and inside of our ideas. But to answer your question, there are so many similarities between Mumbai and New York, particularly. I'm sorry about the messages. Between Mumbai and New York, particularly, uh, traffic, horrible, both places. Overpopulated, both places. Terrible, terrible. Creative, both places. The industry for music and arts, and the appreciation for this whole art society in both places. Although I see that New York is far more established because I think as a country, America is far more taken care of in terms of their basics are sorted compared to India, where India is still struggling with certain basics. So we don't have as many grants, we don't have as many film festivals, we don't have as many platforms for artists, but we do have a very big industry, robust industry there. And not just Mumbai, like particularly for our art, in India particularly, we have not just Bollywood, but we have the southern film industry, the regional film industry. Every region has its own cinema because there are poets like from Bengal, which is a part of India. The Bengali cinema has so much of poetry and art in it. Like it transports you to another world, another time and era. You cannot replicate that if you were to translate that in English because the essence is lost of the word. So certain things that mean something in a particular language hold so much more essence when they're spoken in that particular, delivered in that particular way. As far as technology and me go, we cannot see each other eye to eye. You can see I cannot even stop my phone from pinging. So, so as far as tech goes, I'm a disaster. But yeah, there are a lot of Indian and my friends and my cousins as well. They are very, very their one part of their brain is more established than mine, which is they're very good in maths, they're very good in technology, they're very good with like fixing wires. My brain doesn't work. My brain is like, okay, give me, look at this, give me art pencils, give me my script writing book, give me my storyboards, give me my camera, and I'm a happy soul. So yeah, both those things exist because I think education wise, Ching, in India, the culture and society that we come from, men largely earlier days were pushed to be doctors, engineers, mathematicians, accountants, and women were taught to be housemakers, and hence they were taught the craft of cooking, weaving, knitting, painting, all of those things that they could do. But that was the older narrative. The new India is very different, and it's parents are empowering us to like sit in New York and study and pursue things that we think we would like to contribute to this world. So yeah.
Beautiful. Now, tell us, where are you right now and why are you there?
Oh my God. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but okay, I'll say it. I'm at the United Nations, and today is a very, very, very special day. I'm part of. I support a lot of nonprofits and organizations here in New York. In addition to doing my films, I support a couple of nonprofits which are either spiritual or doing something in the space of supporting human consciousness or humanity at large. So one of these organizations is called We the Future and We the Planet. It's by Kunal Sood, who's the CEO. And today is a very special day because today has been proclaimed as the day for mental health leadership. And we had a leadership panel here today. I was on the panel as well, along with some incredible doctors, scientists, professors, people from Yale University, Columbia University, Dr. James Doty, who's the author of Magic Mind. Incredible bunch of about 50 people who gathered to discuss mental health and what each of us from our own expertise and our own streams can contribute and how could we do that as a collective. So it was a very, very important dialogue, and I was just honored to be part of that table and be able to contribute in this way. But yeah, that proclamation is special. I just made an announcement. You'll read it in the papers tomorrow. But yeah, it did happen today. So I'm here for that, and I just finished that and I ran for your interview.
Hopefully, no one come to chase you.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, that's the risk taking fact that I like about you.
I
And
think I think Ching, as filmmaker, you will agree. So many times when we have to take that gorilla shot, we go with the camera, we sneak in, and we're like, I'm just gonna get that shot and I'm gonna go out. And just then Murphy's law happens. Somebody comes and asks you just that moment, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh my god, I just came here for one shot. Like
there's a saying, it's something like "Don't ask and just do it."
just do it. I
Yeah,
know, right? I know.
yeah.
That's what I think. I always find myself in those situations when I don't ask, I just do it, and then I'm like, oops. And then you have to use charm, or you have to tell them some story, and like yeah, and then the storyteller in us comes alive, saying, okay, now I have to use my real skills of storytelling.
Yeah, and there's another scenario I often sort of remind myself and also people around me. And for instance, you're hesitating to ask a favor. Say, right? You ask someone, say, a professor, okay, can you read my paper? I need some feedback. I'm just making it up. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're so afraid of doing that, right? And you're not doing it. But
Mm.
the reality is you did not ask. And it's like when you ask, if the professor says no, it's the equal that you did not ask.
Mm.
So, right? Don't
Mm.
feel intimidated if you need
Mm.
to ask someone
Mm.
something.
Mm.
Just go ahead, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting you say that because I think this is a problem with a lot of us, especially women. I was also coach at one point for women. I've done mastery in like coaching women for self empowerment, and a part of my work is related to this, where it's like it's so hard for us to ask, so hard for us to ask, and there are many reasons. It's not just the denial or the rejection, but it's also the vulnerability. It's also the fear of being misused. If I ask for this, what will I have to give in return? And some of us are not willing to sort of take that chance or that risk of saying, I don't know what I will have to do in exchange of this favor that I pull today. So we try to be self reliant, and it's very hard. It's very hard because we know we need help, but we can't do everything by ourselves. And well, this is a situation, so it's like a chicken and egg, and we have to play it by the situation. Sometimes we are vulnerable, we ask, we face maybe openness. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's yet another scratch on the existing trauma. So yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, like you said, we got to be a little more courageous and maybe ask, because at the most it will be a no. At the most it will be a no, but at least you would have asked and you would have done your bit. So yeah, thanks.
Right. If someone said no, equals you did not ask. So
Mm-hmm.
it's your loss. Now speaking
Mm-hmm.
of women issue, you're a storyteller and you encourage people to tell their stories. And one of the things you mentioned that um, untold stories by epic women, and what does that mean? And who are these women that that stories needs to be told?
No, thank you for asking that question. This is very personal, and it's connected to my own life's journey. There are many things that I have faced as setbacks, and I believe many women, many other men too, but like many, as humanity, we face so many setbacks, whether it's deaths, whether it's loss of loved ones, whether it's relationship break, whether it's some form of adversity. And at many points of these adversities, what comes to our rescue, at least in my case, what's come to my rescue is certain role models. And I have seeked these role models in folklore, in mythology, in spirituality, or in something that felt like a higher calling each time. And so, to answer your question, who are these? Like, one of them was who I sort of tried helplessly in my little capacity to show in my last short film, which was Yashodhara, the Buddha's wife. I mean, the whole world knows of Buddha, but how many of us really know he even had a wife, or that she had a major contribution, or that she herself was enlightened, and that she rescued a whole village after he and all the men in the village left. So there are these epic women who have done incredible things in history, time and again, over and over, in various shapes and forms and sizes. And I have a research of several years on these women, because they came to my personal rescue at moments when I thought I was in dark night of the soul, or there was just an endless tunnel and there was no light, there was no hope for me. And then these women, or their stories, or their poems, or their art became my reason to continue. And so that's part of the work, when I say that I like to say stories of epic women and untold stories, because a lot of these have not been told. I have research on a woman who is a ninth century mystic. Her name is Rabia al-Basri. She's from Basra, Iraq, and she was the first. She's the mother of Sufism. Even before have you heard of the poet Rumi?
Mhm.
Rumi has so many quotes, etc. So Rumi was a 13th century Sufi poet. Before Rumi, in the 9th century, was Rabia. She is the mother of Sufism, and she was eccentric, but people don't know her story. There has been just one film in the entire lifetime on Rabia. There's nothing, no TV series, nothing. Same for Rengetsu, a Japanese woman. Who converted all of her pain, and she's known pain like nobody before. Like an alchemist, she converted all of her pain into art. She was a potter and an enlightened woman. These women are my role models, and I feel like bringing their stories out in the world and sharing them, because if they can, I can, and if I can, so many more can survive and do so much more and leave so much contribution to the world. So that's the journey. And then, of course, like I met you at that Christmas party, I draw inspiration from women around me all the time, like you. such an incredible violinist, and your music just transports people in a different realms. I get inspired by my surroundings and by women who are around me as well. So much gifts that we have, and sometimes I feel we don't acknowledge it enough. So I just want to be one more champion, acknowledging my friends and everybody else, saying, "Look at her, she's doing incredible," and I want to be a cheerleader.
Thank you. As you were running around, I made a very nice Instagram reel. That's a great job. Yeah, because the for the short clips you do, right, and it takes some skills. Yeah, not if everyone thinks they're filmmaker, that's not true.
I think more than skills, it just takes a little heart, like just a little heart, like.
Yeah, yeah. So, shall we watch one of? Let's see. I'm gonna share the screen. Um, which one shall we watch first? Yahara's the Buddha's wife. You
Yeah,
just
I think we just spoke about it, so I think that would be interesting to see. And in case if you have any question after that, I would be happy to answer.
should we watch it or
Sure.
not? Oh, okay. All right. So here we go.
Siddhartha, a man requires no one to complete him. Is that the whole truth?
All right. Let's come back. So tell us, yeah, where can we see it? Is it on any platform?
I haven't distributed it on a platform yet because it's traveling by invitation. It was premiered at the Queensville Film Festival. Then it played in Clermont-Ferrand in Europe. It played in India at Dada Saheb Phalke Film Festival, where it also won a special category award, a special mention. It was invited to Nepal for the most historic celebration, and I was so proud of that, Ching, because this was the first time that a monastery in Nepal, Shayalpa Monastery, they celebrated women in Buddhism. And it was called the Dakini Day. And on that day, they showed my film to the audience and media and everyone present there. So they had invited my film there. And then it went to Tibetan Museum in US. So it's traveling upon request. If there is a group of people who are interested and who would like to see the film, we will bring the film to them. I'm not going the traditional route of putting it on some platform or YouTube or whatever yet, because I just feel that this film requires dialogue. It's not just watch and forget. Every time I have shown this film, people have gone into intense conversations and dialogues about the research that I have on this project or the subject, or something that comes up for them. And that's how I feel like carrying forward this film as of now. Maybe in near future, a beautiful shorts platform comes up, and maybe I'll distribute. But as of now, I don't feel like. I feel like I want to talk with this film. I want to have discussions, like dialogue with this film happening, like not just a monologue, just showed something and out. I feel like having dialogues with this yet.
Great. I wanted to show one of their website. Uh, so tell us a little bit about this.
This is like a pet project, a baby project right now. It's in development. Creatrix Entertainment is my, Creatrix is something that has been with me ever since I was very, very young. Like I said, 14, 15, when I lost my dad and I started working. I started doing some freelance work for a magazine in India. It was called Femina, again, a women's magazine. And I created the first campaign for them, where I don't know how this word came to me, Creatrix. And I started looking into what this word meant. It meant a female producer, somebody who's like a champion, a torchbearer. And I felt like I wanted to create something, a platform where conscious content is created. Not just mindless content. Yes, mindless content is important for escapism, but I feel I want to contribute towards creating conscious content. And this platform is sort of wanting to bring that alive in some way. It's at a baby stage right now. I will be getting into some seed funding round, hopefully by the end of this year, and I'm formulating the whole thing. But yeah, the bride is not yet ready to be fully revealed.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, so I really enjoy your website, and it's like so you're such a writer. Enjoy reading your writing, and it's like, yeah, it's like a reading a script. Let's see, where's your wait. It's, oh yeah, this one. Yeah, there's quite a lot. Welcome. Wait, this is another one. Yeah, another website of yours, right? Please.
Yeah, this one is Conscious Content Company. This is specifically for just commissioned conscious content, which is basically for portals. What I wish to create is something like a portal which is just for conscious content. You know, today we are sitting in like a Walmart, I feel, with every kind of content on every kind of platform. I feel that some specificity will be very good in the days to come, in the near future, where I know that if I want, like how we have Gaia TV, for example, or you know, you have certain niches. It will be interesting to have a platform which is just for content which is centered around consciousness, and I think that's my goal and vision with this project.
Excellent. Now, I enjoy also one of your videos is about, it's like a cartoon, and you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I don't know which video you're referring to. I'm sorry. Are you talking? I don't know which video you're talking about.
Okay,
I keep doing some funny things sometimes just to.
how about this one?
Oh, this one. This was for Disney's Frozen 2. Let's see it.
Yeah.
कहते हैं लड़कियों को समझना बहुत मुश्किल है। ये बिल्कुल सच है, क्योंकि जितना लोगों ने हमें समझा उससे बहुत आगे निकल चुके हैं। हमें क्वीन बनने के लिए किंग की कोई जरूरत नहीं। हम अपना रास्ता खुद बनाते हैं, वो भी अपने ही स्टाइल में। तारे तोड़कर मत लाना हमारे लिए, वो तो खुद हमें ढूंढते हुए चले आते हैं। हमें किसी और की स्टोरी का हिस्सा नहीं बनना, हम अपनी स्टोरी खुद ले आए। जमाना बदल रहा है और कहानियां भी। कुछ ऐसी ही स्टोरी है डिज्नीज फ्रोजन 2 की। तो मिलिए इस जनरेशन की इंस्पिरेशंस एल्सा और आना 22 नवंबर को आपके नजदीकी सिनेमा हॉल में।
Hey.
So,
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about this.
So this was what I did in my director capacity. I was hired by the Disney Studios for this project, Frozen 2. Frozen 2 is a story of two sisters, Elsa and Anna. I don't know if you know the story. The two characters who were there in the film, Elsa and Anna, the animated characters, and what they did was they chose Priyanka Chopra Jonas, who's the wife of Nick Jonas, who was in the video that we saw just now. They chose her and her real life sister, her cousin, her first cousin, Pariniti Chopra, to be the voice artists for the animated characters of Elsa and Anna in India. And then they hired me to do the promos and campaigns for Frozen 2. And this was one of the campaigns that I had filmed. This was filmed in Los Angeles with Priyanka. And then parts of it I had filmed in LA, but then my counterpart in India had filmed it with her sister because she was in India and Priyanka was in LA. So we did like a set of, I think, 7 promos for Frozen, and I was the director on it. This was a very precious and special project for me. And this is when I actually decided to drop everything and pursue further studies in America, because I felt compelled to do that. Even after my career of 18 years in Hollywood and Bollywood, I said, no, I still need further studies and I want to hone my craft. I want to hone my skills and I want to be able to create this, not just the trailers, but actually create these cinematic stories, not just the promos and trailers for it. So, yeah.
So is this also on the market, or it's
Oh, this is by Disney. This is by Disney. I only did the promos. So I think Disney, you will find it on the Disney portal. You can definitely see it. But I haven't done the film. I just did the promos and the packaging and the trailers for them. And I filmed those trailers for them. So yeah, all of those trailers and stuff is everything was on YouTube. Yeah.
So this looks like the audience is from India, right? What language they're talking?
It was Hindi, which is India's primary language. This was because this actress and her sister are very popular in India, and they did the voice dubbing for the Indian release because India is a very big market for children film and animation films. India being such a family-centric market, there is a huge demand for family-centric films or films that that deal with children, and I think Disney Studios decided that they wanted to get two of these beautiful actresses, and Priyanka is a legendary actress. She's amazing. I worked with her before as well, but this was special because I was directing her after a very long time and in Los Angeles. So yeah, so it was released in India in Hindi, and this was all the promotion for the Hindi dub in India plus the whole diaspora, because there is a huge amount of Indian diaspora and they all recognize this actress. So they did like a whole diaspora campaign across, I think, US, UK, and a couple of other markets, but I think predominantly it was in India.
Now, as a filmmaker, director, and also producer, what do you find the most challenge part of this genre, like direction or fundraising and producing and film? Camera work. What do you find the most challenge in filmmaking?
I'll give you two answers. One is my personal answer and one is the industry-led answer. From an industry perspective, to give you a technical answer, distribution, I think, is the most challenging, especially for young and upcoming filmmakers who do not have, like me, who do not have the bandwidth to fund our own feature length films. We make short films of up to 20 minutes, which can be finished in, say, under $20,000 budget or $12,000 to $20,000 budget. Beyond that, we cannot put cash from our pocket. But for 20-minute duration or a 5-minute or a 10-minute duration, there aren't any good short film specific platforms for distribution. None. Everybody claims, but none of them are really, like, there is no one Netflix short or Amazon short or one mega Fox or NBC or Universal, one of these studios or Lionsgate. Nobody has a short platform, whereas nobody is realizing that is such a big need gap in the market, because today we are all, because thanks to our cell phones and Instagram and social media, we're all tuned to consuming short content over feature length. I don't know how many people actually still see feature length films every 2 days. No, but we consume short format every day, but there is not a platform. So I think that I find the most challenging, and just today also in my talk with one of the people here at the UN for mental health, and I was talking because one of my project deals with a stigma, and I told them that my project will be ready in few months, but the challenge is, besides these rooms where I will bring it and I will show it myself, where do I put it? Where do I put it? You want me to put it on YouTube? That's what you want me to do? Like, what? There is no platform, and it's up to somebody to wake up and create something, because there are tons and tons of filmmakers who are making brilliant short films that really touch your heart. I mean, I started my career with advertising, right? And you will agree, in a 30-second commercial, the creative artists or the creators, they manage to strike an emotion, they manage to say a story, they manage to sell a product, they manage to do everything within 30 seconds, right? We've learned the craft that way. If we can do it in 30 seconds, we can do it in 3 hours, is what I was taught. So a lot of us are making these 3 minutes to 20 minutes, and I urge whoever is watching this or wherever this travels, this interview, somebody come together and create a platform, because there are millions of filmmakers like me who would want that. And the second, the real answer, the biggest challenge that I face in my life and in my projects is, I'm being vulnerable when I'm saying this, but that's just me. I have to be honest. Completions. I can start projects, I can get them to a certain stage, but then every completion feels like a mini death to me. Like, what will there's this fear in me, and I'm still processing and working around with it on what and how I can overcome it. And so yeah, completions is a big thing, and I'm working on it. Hopefully in some time I will be able to, move my whatever little ego aside and say, okay, Neha, complete and next, complete and next. Since the beginning, when I was an artist, I would have 5 pieces of art, one done halfway, one done midway, one just pencil sketched, and I'm like, all right, not even a single one is complete. I have to complete. I have to complete, and that would just keep stressing me. And that pattern hasn't changed very much. so
Well,
so that is my biggest challenge.
yeah, I can definitely relate to that. One of the way for us, many of us, to complete things, including like dissertation for PhD or paperwork, it just in the middle of the semester or other stuff. I'm just being a little nerdy.
Yeah,
It's
no,
because the
sure.
deadline. We need a deadline. So sometimes because we do our own project, I don't have a deadline. So in a way, I just keep putting it, and because no one is chasing me after I'm my behind. So I can really feel you in sense of how to complete certain, and then also completion has to do with a lot of different stages, right? Certain stages you have to complete watching your footage. That's also for me is such a difficult thing. I shoot so much. I i i, I have to go back to watch them and then decide which one works or which one. So sometimes even watching is a huge task. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And at every stage, Ching, for us as creators, is decisions. And I feel it's interconnected because completions happen basis your decisions, and it's so hard to sometimes decide because as a creative you always push yourself saying, oh, I can do so much more, oh, I can add more music, oh, I can do more color correction, oh, I can edit more, oh, I can. There is no stop button, and it's such a hard discipline that you need to get into, like a sadhana, almost like a meditative practice. You need to get into that firm discipline saying, this is where I'm going to stop. And like you said, deadline. So many times we give ourselves deadlines, and then we cross it, and then we try to give ourselves new deadline, and then we rely on this idea of, oh, I'm a creative, I have the liberty. But honestly, I feel that's where our make or break lies. And I know it for me. I know that my make or break lies there, my breakthrough lies there. Till the time I don't finish these, nothing new can enter my spirit. And if something new has to manifest through me, I need to create space. In order to create space, I need to move these aside. Logically and theoretically and philosophically, I know these, but action is not aligning yet. and 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 like I said, it's a discipline. So every day scratching a little and not being hard on myself, not letting my mental health get affected, not going too crazy with all the other things that are going around, living alone in a foreign land with no family, no support system. There's so many other challenges and excuses to hide behind, and sometimes they're not excuses, they're real. And so yeah, dealing with all of those and then saying, okay, we'll juggle, we'll get there. But I think like you rightly said, that it's about putting some sort of a definitive deadline and then creating a discipline, and that's what can help us sort of get our art into the world. I'll just say this one more thing. There was a mentor who I met recently, and he told me that Neha, do it as a diary entry, like how you do a journal entry or you write something in your journal and you forget. He said many times you attach a big idea to it, that it should go on so and so platform, it should reach 1 million people, it should do that. Until the time that doesn't happen, I won't complete it. But he said, forget about where it will go or what it will do. Just do it for the sake of doing it. Just complete it like a journal entry, like how you would do a night diary entry. Just do it like that and put it out. Just do it like that and finish it, so that you can have those new ideas come in through you. And he gave me example of Van Gogh. He said, when Van Gogh was alive, how many people really valued his art or saw him, or but look at now, they're creating immersive museums of Van Gogh. Like everyone's like, Van Gogh t-shirts, Van Gogh cap, Van Gogh, Van Gogh, Van Gogh. So I was like, all right. As artists, our possible, role is to just make art, just make our stories and not worry about where they will go or when. And yeah,
Do it
that's
for yourself, right?
yeah,
Do it.
not even for yourself, just do it because the idea, you owe it to the idea. You owe it to the idea. You don't owe it to, you owe it to the idea, that I, like I said, when I do these stories about the women or these things that I'm super passionate about, nothing can stop me because I know that that idea has possessed me. That idea has taken over all of my senses, excuses, my drama, everything is gone. That idea has to come alive, and now I need to be in service of that idea. That's the sadhana. That's the, in India we say sadhana. Sadhana is practice. That's the seva. Seva is service. So that's the sadhana. That's the seva, and that's the discipline, I think. So yeah, it's a
Speaking of,
spiritual.
yeah, yeah, I totally am with you. And I've been procrastinating on my current project, and
Mm,
I find myself like I wrote down like important a list, and then I circle what's the most important things out of like
mm,
12 things. Maybe three things are more important, but I still ended up doing the simple things, like
mm.
doing the things in the very bottom, and not doing the
you know
important.
you know you know I want to applaud you for that. I really want to applaud you for that, because that is a very courageous thing to do. People who really don't want to do anything, they take up the hardest task, and then they keep on delaying and procrastinating more, because I was told success begets success. Small success that you get by completing a small thing will allow you to have that energy used for the next task and then the next task. But when we choose the first project as the hardest project, forget about it. Like, seriously, because you would feel so self sabotaged in a way, you would feel compromised, you'd feel like you've put yourself against the wall. It's like a Sisyphus story where you're just pushing the boulder up the mountain, it's again coming down, pushing up the mountain again. It's almost like setting yourself up for a disaster, and it's actually very destructive. So what you did, I really applaud you for that, because that is beautiful. You chose the simplest task, but you finished it, and look at that joy. Now that you finished it, maybe you'll take the medium task, and maybe then you'll take the harder task. It's actually very beautiful, but starting somewhere is important.
Thank you so much. And nowadays, especially this month, yeah, it's still mental. Is it a mental health still this
Yes,
month?
it is the
Yeah,
mental health awareness month and the AAPI month. Yeah.
yeah, so many places talk about mental health, in different groups, different genre, different platforms. And how do you, as a coach, how do you tell us, uh, like three things if you may, or you can talk about five, like what do we do to make ourselves not mentally crazy?
Okay, I have four things.
Okay.
I have heard so much chatter on mental health. For me, I've always believed mental health is a jargon, is a term, is an umbrella term we've given. Like, for example, we call a rose, and then we never, when we walk by the sidewalk, we never pay attention to the roses that are blooming. We never stop to smell because we've labeled it rose, and we know in our head it's a rose, but each rose is different. It carries a fragrance, a texture, a softness. But because we've labeled it, we forget about enjoying the present moment with any flower, any single flower, because it's a rose and we've given it a label. Anytime we label something, we take away its humanity, we take away its essence, we take away its presence. I think that's what's happening even with mental health. We've put an umbrella term of mental health over depression, suicidal tendencies, aloneness, loneliness, all, everything that is humanity that we suffer from. There's an umbrella term we've put so that we can control. We are a race that always wants to control. We are a controlling race. And when we can label something, we think it's manageable and hence controllable. So we just want to control it. But I don't know, I come from the Eastern philosophy and the Eastern upbringing. And in our culture, it's not about control. It's about, I'll show you this little thing that I have on my phone actually. It's about nourish to flourish. I don't know if you can see. It's got to nourish to flourish, which means you got to nourish it. You got to nourish every little thing. And the four things that I personally am, and I don't, want to take the label of a coach, but this is simple thing that I understand in my simple human girl's mind, that all of us have the need to be seen, the need to be heard, the need to be acknowledged, and the need to be valued enough that we at least exist. Our existence needs to be valued. Everyone, these are the four basic needs: need to be seen, need to be heard, need to be acknowledged, and need to be valued for our existence. If we can do that for ourselves first, and then to everyone around us, I think there would not be a dialogue needed on mental health. We don't see each other. What we see is the scrolling screens. We don't even touch. Our senses have been destroyed. Even now, our vision is being destroyed with the VR headsets, which we put in. Our sense of touch was destroyed by touching just the phones. Our sense of hearing was destroyed and listening was destroyed by full time putting in a headphone. Now our sense of seeing is being destroyed with the vision thing coming on. I'm not against technology. I love technology, but it's a tool. It's not a way of life. We cannot forget that in order to live, to thrive, to survive as humanity, we need to see each other. We need to listen and converse with each other. Listen to each other and listen, like really listen, not to self-validate. Like so many times I've seen, for example, if I am sharing something very personal from my life, say for example I had a suicidal tendency, or I lost somebody who I really loved, or something with my dad, immediately, even before I have completed, the other person who's listening tries to give me a similar story of their own life, and something in me just shrinks and like, sort of like as if my moment was used for their validation because they haven't healed it within themselves. And I understand, like I can pacify myself, I understand, I put myself in a bubble, but some people just shut down. They'll never share again. And I think the art of listening is so important. So yeah, these four simple things. you
Well,
know
it takes a lot of work to practice, right? And needs to be conscious, needs to be aware of ourselves in many ways, right? Because I think, like you said, sometimes when I talk about my problem, and my friend would just talk about her problem right away, and just to echo, I guess people have this tendency echo your problem to their problems, and yeah, and they're not.
Sometimes, yeah, sorry. Sometimes it's echo. Sorry to just chime
So,
in. Sometimes it's echo, and sometimes it's also they're trying to find a common ground,
mm,
a commonality of shared pain, because that collective pain which we all feel and we haven't healed. But I believe that all the healing for collective pain starts from healing my own pain first. If I can see me, if I can hear my own stories, if I can hear myself cry, if I can hear myself say what I want to say without having the need of somebody else to be able to listen to me, if I can acknowledge my presence, if I can value who I am as a human being and what I bring to existence, if these four things I can do for myself, I will be able to gift it to everyone. Until the time I don't do it to myself, I'll keep on hunting for that perfect person in everyone, because I am demanding that from me also. I'm demanding the perfect person from me, and hence every person I meet, I start demanding the perfect person from them too. And they don't meet a perfect person criteria, because there is no perfect person. Our construct of perfect person is a mixture of, oh, this quality from my mom, this quality from my friend, this quality from my partner, this quality from, and we mix it up and we create this perfect person in our head. There is no perfect person that exists at all. And then we hold each one, including ourselves, to that yardstick, and we can never meet it. So constantly inside, we are living as a failure. I am a failure, and the whole society around me is a failure. Why? Because I live by this yardstick. But in the first place, if I am even little sane today, can I just look at, say, what is this yardstick and why am I holding it? This is the source of my extreme pain. Like, boom, go. Chuck, chuck. I don't need you. And then it's just okay to just accept who you are as you are, and that you're growing. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to meet any mold, any criteria, just as you are. Seeing, hearing, acknowledging, and valuing. I think, like you said, it is work. but I rather do this work than the other work, because the other work has taken me halfway around the globe and gotten me nowhere, honestly. So I rather spend the next half of my life doing this work.
Do you think mental health issue, we talk about this more than I remember, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago? But the thing with the social media, everybody has a phone, and especially teenagers have phones, and then have to deal with the bullying and all kinds of unnecessary exposure to undesired images. So what I'm trying to ask is the mental health issue bigger than before, or it's just as bad as before? Before meaning the social media became so popular.
Um, I would like to say that problems always existed. There was a time when media itself, like television, print, radio, was a monologue, right? It was a monologue. They say, we receive. They show us something, we receive. With the advent of social media and with the advent of Meta, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of these other ways, the monologue has changed to a dialogue where it's not just you say and I listen, you say and I say something in exchange. So it's almost like what was a monologue at one point, which means whatever media showed us, we accepted as a norm. We accepted whatever somebody printed in the paper was a norm. Today, we're challenging everything. We're challenging and we're questioning and we're asking and we're sharing a lot more. So, on one end, I see it as a boon, but on the other end, it's also a bane, because this is also the source of the problem. This is also the source of the problem. We are not meant to be consuming so much data and so much content. There is no time that we give ourselves to just be. 5 minutes we get, we start scrolling our phones, we've got addicted. There is no time that we are taking to pause. So we just spoke in the previous conversation 10 minutes ago, and you said that it seems like a lot of work. But just think about it. It seems like a lot of work compared to what? Compared to what? Compared to we scrolling the social media, compared to we reading somebody's gossip, compared to we reading somebody's ex comment, like compared to what? Like I sometimes get appalled and I'm like, wow, like we really need to have some digital detox time. We really need to start putting it in education systems, in schools, and like everywhere, that you need to have half an hour, 1 hour just to yourself, without your phones, without tech, without another Netflix show, without another television screen staring at you. It's like we live in a world of screens right now, and there are just far too many screens, which I don't think we were designed to be exposed to. I don't think our physical, mental, emotional capacity is equipped to handle so many screens continuously hypnotizing us, because I feel that these are hypnotizing mechanisms. Constantly, what you keep seeing starts to become your own dialogue, your own conversation, and thereby starts to become your own narrative of your own life, whether you realize it or no. Just because you're continuously consuming the same thing over and over and over again, you start to believe something that's even false as truth. Like somebody says, if you hear the false too many times and you repeat it, feels like truth. It's not. So that's what I think is happening. And to answer whether mental health has increased or decreased, I feel life has drawn a very clear, thick line, pre-COVID and post-COVID. I think post-COVID, a lot of things have changed, and a lot of people are questioning existence, questioning what's really happening. And because they're questioning, they're going into their sadness, they're going into their depression, they're going into their pain, which they never saw before. And now that they're taking a chance to look at these things, we are stigmatizing them and we're calling them this umbrella of mental health disease. It's not a disease. To embrace your pain, to accept depression, to accept that is not a disease. It is a reality. Till the time we keep running away from pain, it only keeps on going deeper and deeper into our subconscious and adds to our repressions. So I just feel that actually we are in the best time when people are in pain, and they're actually looking at the wound, because that's when healing can happen. But when you hide it with a band-aid, with a new TV show, with a new lipstick, with a new boyfriend, with a new travel plan, with a new vacation, or whatever else that you use as a band-aid to hide your pain, it won't last too long, because deep down you're crashing, you're cracking. So I feel we're in a very, very beautiful time, because so many people are literally coming out and saying that they're hurting, or they need help, or that they are open to solutions. And I don't think there has been a better time to live in humanity.
So well said. Yeah. Jacques Fintech said earlier, and indeed, we're talking about time management and professional and personal milestones. Deadlines are so important, especially in this modern digital world. Thank you. Thank you,
No,
Jacques.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Ching, for asking these important questions and for this dialogue. It really, touched my heart, and it sort of got me also to self-reflect. So, sometimes it's the right questions that are needed for the answer to sort of come forth. Like, I'll just share this one thing with you. We have a text in India. It's called Vigyan Bhair of Tantra. It has 128 meditation techniques, but they came, and it is said that it's a manifesto for mankind. One of those techniques is for all of the, like, one will resonate with all of humanity. Which one it is, we don't know. So that the way that text came about is that there is this Lord Shiva and his consort Shakti, Parvati. Shakti asked him questions, and each time she would ask him a question, he would bring about a technique. He said, I'm not going to give you the answer, I'm going to give you the technique. You try it and you'll come to the answer yourself. So asking the right questions, I think, is the way to the answers.
Yeah, I have one more question before we end this. It's been almost an hour.
Sure.
Yeah, so you're in CUNY studying film. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, I love CUNY. I love CUNY. I'm so happy being in CUNY. I feel like a child again. um, it's very creative. I think CUNY gives me the liberty. It has 28 or 29 colleges in the city of New York, and it gives me the liberty to pick and choose certain courses if I want to do it. Say, like right now, my home base is College of Staten Island, but it gives me the liberty to do like a special course in Brooklyn or in Hunter or in City College or in Lehman. Like it's just so amazing, and I can choose. I like next semester I'm doing a course in virtual reality and filmmaking, because I want to take my own filmmaking up by a couple of notches. So I am learning dramatics and I'm learning virtual reality, so that the same things, same concepts that I am creating to be future ready, to sort of be able to deliver that. And I think the overall CUNY system is very beautiful. I come from international, like India, and the way we have education there is very different compared to America. And even in America, there are so many fraud colleges. I got into one fraud also. But like CUNY, because it's a city-run college, they have such amazing systems. Everything's thought through. They have so many courses to dabble into. You can do masters and thing. You can do double majors. I am interested in taking poetry as one of my subjects, and it's just interesting that they give you all of these opportunities and platforms. Plus, being a city college, they have many grants. They have film festivals. They have like opportunities to cross culturally share with people from other colleges, and learn a lot more. Professors also, they have some very, very good faculty. So far I'm enjoying my CUNY journey, and I look forward to creating and learning more with them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and CUNY should thank you. Did a nice promo for them.
I
Um,
mean it. It's from my heart. It's from my heart, Ching. I'll just share this one thing with you. Like I had a visa situation that came up for me, and I told CUNY that I have just 1 week to get an admission, and it's not my fault that that's happened. And really, the CUNY systems, they embraced me. I literally was crying and I was in tears, because I was like, after all these years and after all this career, like really, am I going to get stained without any fault of mine? CUNY came forward and they helped me. So yeah, I'm going to champion and I'm going to promote them, because they helped me at my dark night of the soul. So I'm very grateful to CUNY.
and CUNY has actually a TV station.
Yes, CUNY TV.
Yeah, and a very good friend of mine, who is a neighbor of mine, who is a videographer, editor.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, they have CUNY TV, they have newspapers, they have a magazine, they have CUNY TEDx, which is a TED Talk. They
Yeah,
have their magazines, they have their radio station, they have pretty
yeah,
much, everything, and they have very good facilities. One of their colleges also offers a master's program, which is the Fierstein College, which is supported by ABC Network and Sylvester Stallone and some really big Hollywood people who literally, give us breaks to learn with them, to sit in the same room and be with the masters. So that's
yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah.
And it's much affordable tuition compared to other high
Um,
institutions.
that's questionable for international students because we have to pay per credit. Sorry, but like, yeah, that's a challenge, and that's something that I feel a little bit like, that I hope that level of discrimination also ends, where we're not treated like outsiders, and that we get the same benefits that the locals get, because we also come to study, we also put in the same amount of hard work, plus we contribute so much to the economy of the city with the rent, the insurance, and so many other things, that the cars, the travel, like we really contribute so much to the city, and then we have to pay so much more extra than the locals. So yeah,
Oh,
that's one complaint I have.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Really, did you hear that? Yeah, before we end, I wanted to share a little bit about my work. Is I was a musician. I'm still a musician. I still play. Yeah, you saw me play the violin,
Yes, yes.
and I became a filmmaker. I think seriously about 2008, and my latest work is called My Young Gun Diary.
Mhm.
It is a 90-minute feature. I finished within a year after I
Wow.
shot.
Wow.
So to me it's a long time, 8 month editing. But thinking back, it's not. Sometimes you take people eight years to finish one documentary. So it's on it's on Amazon and Tubi and some other many streaming yeah, and also on my YouTube channel. So you guys, if you have time, please watching my Yangan Diary. So the information is in the description below. Yeah, and also check Neha's many, what do you call, links. She has 3 websites is listed, and also she has let's see, link to her Instagram, Facebook, and some other things, right? So yeah, and thank you so much, Neha. I'm so happy to finally talk with you, and it's been like what it's been, I don't know, 6 months. Yeah, I've been chasing you for 6 months. Yeah.
Oh my God, that makes me feel so horrible. I am terribly, terribly sorry. The last 6 months have been so grueling for me because, like I told you, this visa situation happened for me in January. My whole face was burnt. You wouldn't recognize me if I show you the pictures. Yeah, and I was scared to even come in front of the camera. It's only now that I'm healed and I can be out again, and I've started to appear in and meet friends again. I've got the courage to do that. But yeah, a lot has happened in the last 6 months, and I went through my own mental health debacle once more, and I popped again because you cannot keep a seed in the ground for too long. She will pop out again.
Yeah, when you have up and when you have down, you have up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
thank you so much for having me, Ching. I have really enjoyed talking to you, and I can't wait to meet you in person because I want to listen to the violin again. It just takes me to another place. So I really look forward to that.
yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much, and thank our audience to being with us. And yeah, and we really appreciate you being there and asking questions or make comments. Yeah. So
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the people who were there with us live and all the people who will see it in the future. And
yeah,
Ching is a phenomenal violinist and a filmmaker. Please follow her work. And then, if there's anything that we can serve you with as filmmakers, as creatives, as women, as people in New York, we will love to. So please reach out to us. Thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.